Sanje Chetan Soye Chonam La Shanja Varda Nam Sanje Dage Soye Besanam Rola Venja Sanje Dabra Cho Sanje Chetan Soye Chonam La Shanja Varda Dage Soye Besanam Rola Venja Sanje Dabra Cho Sanje Chetan Soye Chonam Okay, what is next? Can you hear me very clearly?
Yes, I can.
Okay, then you don't have to see me. Okay, I just want Khenpo because it's always say I'm sitting on different chair and I will translate after we talk. Okay. I would like to say, Tashi Dele, first of all, to all of you who are listening Dharma through online tonight. Since we are all Mahayana practitioners, it is very important to have the correct, unmistaking motivation. Therefore, please listen the Dharma with the vast motivation of bodhicitta, thinking that I would like to become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. First of all, I would like to say the special reason why I chose to teach on the six paramitas on this program, the KTG curriculum program.
오늘도 다 직빈 받으서기 되네 카시 되네 강도 짐바 접으시 되네 대대대 땅 전화 되네 신다 강마지는 주 지기요 봐서 되시 되네 된대지 삼로 단계요 되네 대양 지기요.
Because there are some people, the worldly people, who thought, if I can practice generosity very well, and that will be sufficient for me. So people, there are many different kind of people who, for example, some things like, okay, I just practice generosity and that's good enough for me. So actually, that is not good enough for those people who think that way. That's why this is one reason.
얘네 가시양 수준 미양다고 지 송나 수준 남다고 양다고 지 송대나 얘네 로정다 냠내 신다 와야 제마고 연저버지 근데 삼로 당게 얘네 요바래 되는데 얘네 출인지부 송대네 얘네 파르스 지금 주시 냠내 신다 매바 대양 내나 대양 지기.
And also, of course, there are other people who thinks if I keep my vow very well, if I practice the discipline very well, if I can be a very disciplined person, then that's good enough. Some people also think that way. And that's very good to be a very disciplined and keep the vows precept perfectly. But just to keep the vow or being a very disciplined person is not sufficient again.
얘네양 사실 검지구 접되나 얘네 가서 대지국이 되네 다 미세체 검지구 접네 얘네 가서 파르드지 마도 신념내 신다데서 뭔가 저거지 얘네 얘네 삼라당이야 요바래 되나 이나야 대양 되네 검치부기양 되네 공부 다르지 못도 신나 야나 내나 데이트기
이 까무성도 그냥 쓰기 근데 약간 지겠습니다. 책 까무성 들어가. 사베지 보는 무슨 뭐건 피나지 무슨 건데 근데 왜 아버지 맞다. 왜 아버지 그러죠. 마스는 근데 아버지. And also there are people who thinks that just to do meditation practice is good enough and they don't need anything else. And that's also wrong way of thinking. Of course, doing meditation practice is very important, but you have to complete all 6 parameters. Just doing meditation practice is not sufficient for us.
얘네 대 미리베 중생 가르르잖아 나 진바지부 땅 수준당 신다라 냠내 마제라 있나 얘네 방서 진비게 제보되게 롱제 잠지 중개요래 얘네 방서 최주별로 주노 롱제 지부 있지 얘네 대저들 리딩 편성서가 대저로 접제 성능 리딩 편성서가 양다고 접고 예 더버리셔 발라 되는 수준이야.
And the reason why I'm saying it is just practicing generosity is not sufficient, or just practicing on the discipline is not sufficient is because, for example, that the result of generosity practice is we will become a rich person or wealthy person, and then that's good. We need some wealth or also to practice Dharma, but we really need a perfect human body which has 18 qualities. So that can be obtained only by practicing the discipline very well. So just practicing generosity is not good enough to achieve that kind of human body, to obtain that kind of human body, which we call the precious human body, which has 18 different qualities.
네. 강하라서 태과 침맥에 바로도 침맥 쪽에 태과 침맥이 냠내인다. 얘네랑 롱제 푸는 소바지나 진바당의 롱제 푸는 소바지 출연선의 리덴 푸는 소바지 돈나 데이트게에서 데이트게 말에 가려나 코로 들자 뒤에 얘네 생긴게 된 라버지 제거를 된 코로 들자 뒤버 제발라 얘네 서베 바로서 침마마고나 얘네 코로 들자 뒤 두토기 말에 얘랑 얘네 서베 바로서 침마돼요.
And of course, it would be very nice to have this precious human body, which has 18 qualities, by the merit of being a very disciplined person. And also, it's very good to be a rich person or wealthy person through the practice of generosity. But somehow, we are a Mahayana practitioner. Therefore, just to have those things for oneself is not enough. So we have to have a disciple to whom we can help, and then we have to gather the continent people to whom we can help through the Dharma. So for that reason, we also have to have the practice of the paramita of patience. Without the practice of paramita of patience, we cannot help others too much.
얘네 둘자 로마 망보지 뒤바이 나양 얘네 뒤고게 뒤바이 나양 다디 강사 소세 감왕 메바장 튼비기 최신의 되제디 타바당 단계인데 남다 거고 예 얘네 감왕 메바 셰바르제 발라 얘네 네 전당 원식이 되네 방도 냠도 타고 데이터를 제발라 되네 삼대 공고를 삼대 막음노 되네 원시 전당 원시 토기요 데 마도노 둘째 강나 건들기 되네 방도 최시 토기 메바.
So by practicing the paramita of patience, even we can have so many people to whom we can teach Dharma. But of course, each individual is different from each other. They would have different capacities. They would have different interests and so forth. In order for us to be able to help them as their needs, then we have to be a clairvoyant person. We should have the clairvoyance and what we call the eyes. Different eye. There's different in Tibetan, which is a chen. That's eyes. It has different meaning, but anyway, that's the translation of Tibetan word. And in order for us to obtain those qualities, which we call the clairvoyance and eyes, then we must practice the paramita of meditation. Without practicing the paramita of meditation, we cannot obtain those qualities, what we call the clairvoyances and the eyes. And without having those qualities, then we cannot really help others in a proper way, in a way that they need, because each person is different from each other, and without being a clairvoyant person, we cannot know what Dharma is good for which person, like that. Therefore, then practicing of paramita of meditation is very important.
양 둘저 거도 둘제게 감왕 메바 시에바 있나요 대당 감왕 메바 대당 튼비기 최시도 시에바 그거를 대 최시에발라 얘네 시랍 거기 얘네 시랍데 둘저 방도 택바 숨기 얘네 둘저 가래 인바 택바 숨 대기 얘네 최대 시에거기 시에 투포 대시에 발라더니 시랍데 메나 탐내 버려 참
Get this card.
Yeah.
많이 해서 수도 내셔서. 그런 많이 해서 지금 베이직. 좀 많이 했는데 get card. 네. get 내가 본다요. So again, even we become clairvoyant, not ends, by having clairvoyance and eyes through the meditation practice. But again, even we know what person needs what, then we have to know the Dharma to teach them. That's why we need the paramita of the wisdom. Otherwise, even if we know which person need what kind of dharma, but if you don't know that dharma, then there's no way you can teach that person their needs, and there's no way you can help them. Therefore, you need to have the wisdom of all the three yanas, because even though you have the power of reading the people's mind, and then you know which person belongs to which yana, then you have to teach according to their needs, their wants, their capacity, and their interests. Therefore, and then again, without the practicing the paramita of wisdom, then we cannot help others. That's why we need all of them.
Tene da di ngarangi tene da kanzo samsu chobachi shayin da danda ngom sheya ngoma di tene dabo tarje nangla nyame dabo rinbaji paru de chimbi dudunji tang jeba je shedo tene daringi dudunji.
So that was just my thought, my opinion, and that's the reason why I chose to teach 6 parameters. Now I'm going to go on our main topic, which is the 6 parameters, and I'm going to base my teaching on the ornament of precious liberation that was written by Khenpo. And then in this text, he has 2 different ways of teaching them, one in a concise way and one in extensive way. And today, of course, we don't have time to go through the extensive way. Therefore, I'm going to teach the concise way.
네, 다 냐메 다버는 제가 주바 장조의 셈게베 랍자 넘버 숨인데 라바 트중게 라바는 라바 셈게 라바는 라바 셔럽게 라바인데
내주지고 들어가.
라
내주지고 들어가.
그래라
맞아. 맞아.
네, 딘데 다 알아서 택바 침백이 다람 용서 두나 되는 하고 트는 게 라바 심게 라바 땡이 라바 셔럽게 라바 숨게 방수도 그래 대숨대양 되는 파르드 침바 죽데 마창나 대숨데 창고요 말에 대숨 창고고 이제 디나는 되는 파르드 침바 죽데 창고.
So in the chapter 11 of the ornament of precious liberation, Khenpo says the action bodhisattva has 3 types of trainings: the training in superior morality, the training in superior thought, and the training in superior wisdom awareness. And then all the Mahayana teachings are included in these 3. I'm just reading a translation from someone else, a book. So usually I also use a Sanskrit word. We say 3 shikshas. And then first one is, of course, the superior training of the morality or discipline, and then someday. And then training in thought, and then the wisdom awareness, or the shut up. We usually I say morality, and then meditation and primordial wisdom, or just wisdom. And then without training in this, there is no way that you can practice the 6 parameters. Once you are you train in these 3 shikshas or trainings, then all the practices of all 6 parameters are included there. So this is the way, the concise way how Khenpo is teaching in his text. Also.
네네. 대라 하바 트림 겔라바니 짐바노 트림노 서바 인세. 나 짐바 트림 서바 숨디 하바 트림게 공서 쪽으로 있는. 하바 셈겔라바니 삼댕이 바로 되신 바인. 하바 셔럽겔라바니 셔럽이 인세. 준준이 숨차기 다 라바 셈 주름게 라바 셈게 라바 셔럽게 라바 숨갈라데네 도기 준주보고요.
So how you included 6 parameters in these 3 trainings or 3 shiksha is, Khenpo says, the generosity, moral ethics, and patience, which means the parameter of generosity, the parameter of patience, the discipline, and the parameter of patience. These three are included in the superior morality. And then meditative concentration, which is we usually also say parameter of meditation or meditative concentration, is the training in the superior thought. And discriminating wisdom awareness is the training in superior wisdom. Now we have one, which is diligent, or the parameter of diligence or perseverance is the support for all three. So this is how all six parameters are included in the three trainings or three shikshas.
Then Dode Jenle, Lapsum Wangdo Zenene, Chele Pare Chimbajo, Yangdakshe de Tangboson, Tamanigi, Nambani, Ching, Sumjala, and Tos, Tati, Tonda de Hondajuban. The Arang. Then the Karetana, Lapsum Wangdo Zenene, Paradisima Drug Mena, Labasum Yo Marida. 라바숨 이게 람디 남샤기 샤고들 얘는 바로 저기 인지미디나 창고 레고 대신마 라바숨 이게 남샥 체약이 제도라 얘는 바로 지금 송바래 있어 상지점에.
And Gampopa also have a quotation from Maitreya Buddha, the text which is called the Ornament of Mahayana Sutra, or what Alankara something Sanskrit name I don't remember. Anyway, the English translation is Ornament of Mahayana Sutra. In this, the Maitreya Buddha says, with respect to the three trainings, the victorious one explained the six parameters well. The first three belongs to the first training, the last two belong to the last two, and one belongs to all three. And that is what Gampopa just has mentioned earlier. When he says the first three belongs to the first training means generosity, moral ethics, and patience are the training in the superior morality. And then the last two belongs to the last two means meditative concentration is the training in superior thought, and discriminating wisdom awareness is the training in the superior wisdom. And then when he says, and one belongs to all three means the perseverance or diligence is the support for all three of them. So the reason why six parameters are taught is to train in these three trainings: the training of morality, the training of meditation, and training of wisdom.
Domni Jindang Chudum Sabadang Tundri Samden Sherab de Dedan number 2 body Jobe Semge Labja du Tangarando Teba Chembege Lamdi Dorduna Memba Semge Juba Semge Nigu Consulting. Then a Juba Semge that Labja Tamje, then a part of the Chimba Tugi Consulting by Super.
So in short, the practice of all Mahayana is included in the two bodhicitta, the application bodhicitta and aspiration bodhicitta, and then the all practice of the application of bodhicitta is the six parameters. So therefore, here is in short, he says generosity, moral ethics, patience, perseverance, meditative concentration, and discriminating wisdom. These six comprise the training in action bodhicitta. So action bodhicitta and application bodhicitta is same. I usually use application bodhicitta, but this translation says action bodhicitta. Tibetan word is the same. We say juksem, juksem.
Laksang Shibi Dole Jang Laksang Jangjo Semba Semba Chimba Nyurdongomar Jang Chubar Jawi Cheri Haru de Chimba Juba Didala Takbar Jindo Yangsu Zobar Jao Jo Ganshena Dida de Jimbe Paru de Chimbana, Tsudringi Paru de Chimbana, Sube Paru de Chimbana, Tsundringi Paru de Chimbana, Samdengi Paru de Chimbana, Rogwa Sheragi Paru de Chimba de Shesongzo. Dati Garetsegodosena Nyurdo, Sanjigi Kopang Gang Job, Nyurdo Top Gona, 하루도 침바 죽디 창마 냠len 창화지 그저거래 어떤다 돌도 비신.
And we have another quotation from Sutra. The sutra is called Subahu Requested Sutra, which says, so now Buddha is speaking. Buddha says to Subahu, he says, Subahu, in order for a bodhisattva, mahasattva, to achieve enlightenment quickly, he or she must persistently concentrate on full perfection of the 6 paramitas. What are these 6? They are perfection of generosity, perfection of moral ethics, perfection of patience, perfection of perseverance, perfection of meditative concentration, and perfection of wisdom awareness. So what we can understand from this quotation is, if you want to become an enlightened being very quickly in a very fast, then you must not miss any one of them. You should practice all 6 parameters equally.
파르드 정말 주보 디닥장 뒤뒤 넘을 샤바나 연락 제발 샤바 니기 샤바르죠 다 니지 거네 마시긴 당보 뒤뒤 넘을 샤바라 dom니 장에 거는 예 바다 천이 당는 게 뒤동 럽도 예동 두어데 그룹이 파르 진주 뒤든 되네 다 장에 템바당 파르 장이든 대라 파르도 정말 쭉 장예반 네 면도도 내리게 왕도 제바데 다 당보 장에 쭉 파르도 정말 쭉네 장에 세야 돼 좀전 가래 되게 그러잖아 파르도 정말 쭉래 망아 미거세 그거 요 말에 망고 말에 용남 미두세 다 바로 지금 좀 마상나 상지 고방 주변에 남데 창기요 말에 인장 되네 죽을때 되네 망전당 용전이가 매봐 되네 죽을 두가 창고가 있는 그렇게.
And these 6 will be, which means the 6 parameters will be explained in a concise way, and then each branch in more detail. Now we are doing the concise way, as I said earlier. Explanation of the concise meaning, the summary, definite numbers, definite order, characteristics, definition, division, and grouping. These 6 comprise the 6 parameters. So first is the definite number. Why we need 6, and then why we don't need more than 6, and then what happens if we don't have 6? Why we need exactly 6? This is what the meaning of when we say definite number. So now I'm Gampopa is explaining the definite number, the reason why we don't need more than 6, and then the reason why we must practice all 6 of them. He's explaining here. That's all.
네, 장애의 중생직이 가르되나, 뒤에서, 장애의 원도당 연리기 왕도 제바대, 원도 내가 하던 상시고만 맡을기 링라, 내가 하던 미고만 토배 제도라, 되네, 바로 되지마 숨, 진바 추름 서바 숨디, 되네 원도기 고방 토배기 제도라, 이숨 창고고요. 되네 년래 상식이 고방 토배기 제도라, 되네 공부. 년 문제 제도 롱지기 된도 진바 롱지 롱제편서가 용하기 제도 진바 류 내매바 왕바 연락 청와 체령와라 소바 류 분정 소바 용하기 제도 추름 내내 코를 둘자 양다바 두기 제도 서바 대숨데 내내 원대기 고방시 토바 있나요? 내내 대숨 참고.
So one of the reasons why we need 6 parameters is the first 3 parameters are to obtain birth in higher realm. according to this translation, is higher status. In Tibetan, we say ngonto, which means we have like 6 realms. 3 of them are called the lower realms and higher realms. So this is what the higher realms here means. It's still in samsara. So 3 of them. And if asked what are they, then it says the generosity, discipline, and patience. And then why we need them to have a good birth in higher realm is to be a rich person, or we need to have the practice of generosity, and then to be a perfectly healthy and long-lived person, we have to have anyway, in order to have a perfect physical body with no illnesses, long life, and so forth, then the practice of discipline, and then in order to have a perfect entourage or retinues, we must have the practice of patience. That's why the first 3 paramitas, which are paramitas of generosity, paramitas of discipline, and paramitas of patience, are taught for us to obtain a higher realm, to obtain birth in the higher realms. Yes.
얘기 된도 somne 연된 펠로르 제베 된도 존주 거에서 다 원토 하다미 고방 류된 양다버 토바디 땡니 상지기 고방 주베 치돌라다 건도를 연된 펠로르 제베 된도 존주 거에요게 얘네 샘 럽도 시원네베게 된도 3된 거에요래 얘네 학동 다음에 도베 셔럽 토베게 치돌라 얘네 셔럽 거에래
And then 3, we have 3 left again. We have already done only like 3 paramitas, and then we have 3 which are paramitas of diligence or perseverance, and paramitas of meditation, and paramitas of wisdom. And then Tibetan word here we use the ngelek, which is actually the liberation, but different word. Therefore, ngelek means definite goodness or something. Never definite goodness. So definite goodness is the liberation. So after we have this perfect birds on the higher realm, then we can practice dharma for the definite goodness, which means to get liberation from samsara. Therefore, we have to have the rest 3 paramitas, which are the paramitas of patience, paramitas of meditation, and paramitas of wisdom. And then, okay, so with the parameter of after you achieve or obtain the perfect birth in the higher realm, then parameter of patience will help you to increase your virtue. And then parameter meditation will help you to calm down your mind, or which means calm abiding, to have a calm abiding. And the parameter of wisdom will help you to have the special insight or the vipassana, and then you can become a liberated person. So that's why first 3 were taught to obtain the perfect birth in higher realm, and the next 3, the last 3 is taught to achieve liberation.
아니바 고림니 고림 녜바 다 진바 당바샤 추름니바샤 서바 숨바샤 되네 고람 샤고베 좀센디 다 되네 신기는 고림 녜바니 주일라 깨위 고림데 다 말한 속에 주일라 깨와서 냠는 제야 가레 레 담보네 고송데 데네 가레 레라와 줄라 게 투기요 봐 냠네 제 투기요 봐 디도 데네 담보 샤버레 데네 딜레테데 까와데 니바샤 델레테 깔레 카보데 데네 숨바지네 고림 데네 센네 줄라 게 투기 냠네 제 레라 최충기 개발기 고름샤바 진 진바당와라 되네 추즘양다바를 렌토바당 추즘당 된나 쇠바 검토바당 쇠바 검나 존재 좀 뉴바당 존재 점나 땡인 줄라 깨어 투바당 땡인 진라 냠바를 샤 야군다고 샤 tumno 되니 야군다고 지도와 신도 또비 시랍디게 두게래 대진데네 되네 고림 당만이 거에 샤고에 되는 준진디 되는 고림 샤고에 주는 직대는
So that was the definite number. Why we need all 6 of them, then why we don't need more than that? Because our final destination is to be liberated from samsara, or to to get nirvana. And then in order for us to be able to achieve nirvana, we have to have the perfect birth in higher realm first. Then we can practice. Therefore, the first 3 are to achieve the perfect birth in higher realm, and the next 3 are to achieve the perfect liberation. And that's the definite number. Now the second one is definite word orders. Why, for example, why the generosity is taught first, then after that discipline, and so forth. And then here Gampopa said again, they are explained in the order they develop in the mind. Through the practice of generosity, one will accept the pure morality without focusing on material concern. When one has moral ethics, one will have passion. When one has passion, one can make effort with perseverance. When one had made effort with perseverance, meditation concentration will arise. When one is absorbed in meditative concentration, one will perfectly realize the nature of all phenomena. So this is the reason why the generosity was taught first, and then after that the morality, and then patience, diligence, and then meditation and wisdom.
에네양 중생지기 강 멘바 능은도 땐라 촉도 내바네 치 땜바오데 다 촉당 멘바디 양 강조 말아서 주 냠len 제 투비아 레라와라와 디조데네 멘 마다 칼레 카와 디조다 촉도 차네 다 고림 덴데신 디기 장 고림 니바 샤고베 중세 니바지
And that was one reason why the order was put in that way, like starting from generosity, ending at wisdom. And then another reason is, again, he says, or the order is explained from lower to higher practice, which means compared to discipline, practicing generosity is easier, and then like that. So which is easier? That was taught first. Then after that, the second step, third step, like that. And that's another reason why we put that the 6 parameters are put in this order.
양나 타와당 라베 고림데 타라기 라테네 다 고림샤가 좀진지 강 라그락스 줄바 라바라바리 줄바 대종은도 죽라라와 대종은도 땐라 강 타타르 줄바 죽가와 대조되네 제일라 림바신도 제일 땜바 되게 양 되는 고림지 샤고베 좀진지
So
대다량도 되전에 나말라된 치마게 맨날 쪽도 내리체 라바당네 타웨제 대다림에 내바 인세
so those which are lower are the superior ones are better. And then another reason also, the order is from the gross to the subtle level, because generosity is more gross, and then the teaching on discipline is more subtle than teaching on the generosity, and it gets more and more subtle. Then when you come to the parameter of wisdom, it becomes a very subtle one. That's why it says the order is from the gross to the subtle level. Those which are more gross or easier to follow are explained first, and those which are certain and more difficult to follow are explained later. Now again, there is a quotation from the now I remember the Sanskrit name. This is called Api Samaya Alankara. I remember it. The English translation, according to this book, it says the ornament of Mahayana Sutra. I think that's generally used in English, but Sanskrit name is Abhisamaya Alankara, and this was written by the material Buddha. So in here, Gampopa has a quotation from this book, from Abhisamaya Alankara. He said, "The second arises independent on first, because some abide lower and higher, because of being gross or subtle. In this way, the orders abide respectively." So this is the quotation, and the meaning is just already explained before the quotation. That's all.
다 숨바 천이 네 바로데 마주게 천이 장조 선배 진바 라서가 바로데 진바 남게 천이네 남바 시대인데 남바 시가르잖아 미든 비총 냠 매버제 바당치 남바라 미도베 시게 바당니 되바 탐제 용수도 버제 바당 숨 샘제남 용수 메버제 바당 시대 창고래.
And now we have finished the second one, which is definite order, and the third one is characteristics of the paramitas. And then again, Gampopa says the perfection of each of the 6 paramitas of the bodhisattvas, generosity, and so forth, is categorized into 4 characteristics. That means there are 4 different qualities of each, which are they means the 6 parameters decrease their opposite, right? Opposite, the reverse one. And then they produce the primordial wisdom of non-conceptual thought. That's second. They fulfill all that is desire. That is third. They mature all sentient beings in the 3 ways, and that is the fourth. So each parameter has these 4 different qualities, and that's what we call the characteristics of 6 parameters.
And then they are 당보 천이 당보대 가르잖아. 진바 미팅 총량당대. 다 진바 있나 진비기 미팅 총가를 세르나디다 냠 매바당 세르나 줄라 매바지 소토고래 그래도 다 세르나당 지신도 세르나 예신이 진바당나디 네 진바 차기에서 말해. 되는 데인데 진비기 미팅 총 세르나 냠바. 대나진 추림기 미팅 총 출체를 추림 데 매바 출칠 매바 출칠기 먹어봐지. 근데 저는 서백이 미팅 저 공조 서박 냠len제데 다 공조데 매바 소토바지. 어디나신 다 바로도지마 두가야 미팅비 촉비 되네 냠밤 매바 소토가 디 미팅 촉비 그 맞추바지 소토바지.
So when it says these 4 qualities, the first one is they say they decrease their opposite, which means, for example, the opposite of being generous is being stingy, right? Stingy, that you don't want to let go your wealth, right? Stingy. There are many words, but I'm just using one word, stingy. So if you can, uproot stinginess, then your generosity is working very well. That's what it means when you say decrease the opposite, And then again, for example, the opposite of discipline is violation, right? Violation, right? You understand? You shake your head if I'm saying okay, right or not? Violation, or some people also say corrupted vows or something like that. But anyway, if you have practiced the parameter of discipline very well, then you will never have any violation against your vows, and that's the opposite side of the being a disciplined person. For example, like that. And then, of course, the opposite of the parameter of patience is being angry, or so you have to get rid of your anger or hatred, and that is what the patient of parameter of patience decrease your anger. That's what it means. So that is the meaning of when they say, it says they decrease their opposites. That's the first quality. That's all.
Tene nipa di nambar mido yishi de, da ram na, tene korsum mido waji, kanzo, korsum mido wiki jimbadan, korsum mido wiki turim, da korsum mido wiki seba tunde samjang kom gogo sare, da korsum mido waji de, da jimba jobo na, jimba, 진저 진바보 진열 숨디 되네 이 숨기 진바 매바지 되네 대 코르미도 방어디다 사토네 마도 벤제 마랑 소소고 갑래 중에 갈래 가버리 이나야 되네 될라 주마다 밀람다비게 되네 네셰지 게토 되네 코르미도 배 제든지 그 수준 진바장나야 고르습니다. 수준 송나야 송자 송제 송윤 고르습니다. 바다. 대나에서 바준의 삼내가 있나야다. 고르습니다. 매도가 전에 제튼 주마다 면음다 보게 주시지게 됩니다.
So and the second quality is which says they produce the primordial wisdom of non-conceptual thought, which means whenever we practice those parameters, for example, like when we practice the parameter of generosity, it should be embraced by the knowledge that doesn't conceptualize the three spheres. For example, when you are practicing giving a generosity to someone, then you should also have the understanding of non-existence of the giver, giving, and the things that is being given. But the actual practice could be done only by those bodhisattvas who already obtain one of the bhumis. And as ordinary for us, we can just think in the way such as like like a dream or like a mirage and so forth. And that's the way we can follow. We cannot do the actual one until we achieve one of the bhumis, but we can do it that way, thinking that and then I can say when you are practicing the discipline, whatever parameters you are practicing, you can use the same idea. Even I practice, but actually it's just like a dream or just like a mirage and so forth. And that's okay for the time being.
And then somebody 더바 탐제 용족지 세네 다디 나랑도 올라 배잖아 배 내가지 뭐 용도 가르드나 뭐마제나 양자를 롱 다디나 직대 다롱 신달로도 양자를 롱 양자들 양자를 롱나야 거기 더바 마족 봐도 되네 제거야도 다디 칼레고 와서 평발 직대도 양자를 롱나 니 단다라 제어 hin다다 다롱 롱기도 되네 되네 양 강도 공도사야 당 양니고 숨바 롱나 델레 공도사와 저기 된대 용도 당 뭐마제나 디 마셔로 템바니 숨시 가져롱나요 농롱가들라 되네 공도시당 매바 다자 체중 가져 있나야 되네 제도바지 제거야 그래도 바로 또 삼바 마저바도.
And then third qualities or third characteristic that is mentioned here is, it says, they fulfill all that is desired, which means it's not easy for us. For example, for myself, it's not easy, which means, for example, if you take example of the practice of generosity, then if somebody asks you, request you to give something to him or her, then for the first time, it's easy for you. You can give it to him who is asking, with a very happy mood or good happy mind. But if that person, the same person, come again and then you ask you again, then it might be not as easy as the first time. Then if that person keep coming again and again, then you might get angry. That's the way how ordinary. Actually, as a bodhisattva, then we should never be angry. Then we should support until his or her wish is fully fulfilled, completely fulfilled. But that's what it means.
어디 당하라도 가서 롱롱 먹고 예살을 줘도 되네 삽삽제 봐야 개춤을 통해
So when we are giving generosity to the beggars, it's important for us to keep our motivation pure and not to let ourselves get angry.
얘네 시바디 샘진남민지 남숨세 당오마제나 얘네 짐바 거기 로하 조조 발도를 짐바 때네 되네 다 코랑데 방서 핵바 숨기리 작가래 이나야 되네 되게 람라 거투버지 되네 방서 거투베기다 냠낸 되네지 보고서
And then the fourth, it says they mature all sentient beings in three ways, which means first, you should be able to please that person with whatever he or she needs. And then after he or she is totally happy, satisfied, then you should be able to teach him Dharma, the way family he belongs to, like belongs to the Shabakayana family, then you should teach Dharma of Shabakayana. If he or she is belong to the Pratika Buddhayana, then you should be able to teach that Dharma. And then if he or she is belong to Mahayana, then you should be able to teach that. And then establish him or her on the path. And that's what it means when it says they mature all sentient beings in the three ways.
얘네 네 천년시리 단다 자생 뭐된 값을 진발라 자료리데 연주디 파르데 좀쭉 차상로 창고도 추줌라 있나요 얘네 추중기 미된 종념 도바나 얘네 니바 넘버 미도비 이제 코르도 미도비 이제 창고바다 얘네 숨바디 센딩이 되바 침투와다 당 되는 시버디 강조 델라데네 심년함이 태바수 밀람나 그래도 이나진 진바 추준 서바 준주 되네 바로 쭉 참말라 천이시디 참고.
So these four qualities or four characteristics should be included in each of the paramitas, not just the generosity. Generosity was taught in, for example, and then even with the the practice of the discipline, it should include these four qualities: qualities of decreasing the opposite, and then producing the non-conceptual wisdom, and fulfilling the wishes of disciple, and helping the disciple to be mature on the path of Dharma. And then same with the patience, diligence, samadhi, and wisdom.
네, 다 먼저 예측이 온게 봐요. 울와 돌발 제베나 진바오데 진바세 가레세네 민 진바세 라바레스나 울와 돌발 제기데 진바디기 대신에 진바센다 얘네 추줌세 가레제네 라바레스나 실와 터버 제바 다 코로이게 차동 년통이 내기 자동디 셀네 실로 도리기 하담미기 실로 세디단데 미기 자동 나라다 실지 신기 세디지나 배 기부지 연구여로 디나제 되네 년성 코로다 년성의 자동 셀네 탈바단 담미기 미기 실로 도비지나 추준 셀라고에 되네 초와 서바 제베나 서바 공조 세당디 서바 제베나 데네 서바즈 초라 저라 제베나 준주소 다촉 다르바당 담게기 멜람나 저라 제바 꿀로 제베나 데네 준주스네 나가데 다 준주데양 정강게라 조와오제 개와라 조와기 저와 지강 다르바당 담게기 멜람나 저라 제베기 저와지기나 대라 준주 센데네 인도그라마도 양 강서 자와 멤발라 되네 베트 제바데라 준주 세계지베나 대 준주 세계 말에 이 낭도 짐버 제베나 삼데노 디 된담바 셰베나 셰라보 다 디졸라테네 된담바 셰베나 된담베기 된 셰베체나 되네 셰랍스멜라바 중생데 대남기 거루에 냥엘레 대바를 제베나 바르도 침바오 다 디도고 되기 거루에 사 도르네 바를 되는 냥엘레 대바 티 버제베나 되네 바르도 침바스네 라고에 중생 미다 미색들이 대단한 도대체네 울와 도어 제바노 실와 토바 톱당 토스당 촉조로 와던 예진당 대남시비 치리 셰도 셰좀
And that completed the characteristics. Now the definition. Definition, the why, first of all, why they are called parameters. Here I have to explain, translate in English also, because parameter is a Sanskrit word. And then some people, I heard many people saying perfection in English sometime, but here, according to Tibetan or Sanskrit, paramida, parol to chimba in Tibetan. Parol to chimba means gone, okay, G-O-N-E, gone, right? Pronunciation, okay, gone. Gone to the other shore, you know, like if you have river and the one shore and that shore, so that's what it means. Actually, literally, Tibetan word parol means the other, and chimba means gone. So gone to the other shore. Okay. So why they are called gone to the other shore or paramita or parol chimba is because they are the cause to cross the samsara and achieve nirvana. So that's why they are called the paramita or gone to the other shore. Okay. Is that clear, right? Clear, right? Okay, yeah, so this is the definition in general. The reason why all of them called, why they are called paramitas or paratuchimba, which means gone to the other shore, is because they are the cause to cross samsara and achieve nirvana. And then now that's the general definition of paramita. And then now each has different meaning. Generosity means dispel poverty. So you give generosity to people, then that help other people to dispel their poverty. And then moral ethics achieves coolness. Coolness in Shila, again, Sanskrit word Shila means coolness. Coolness means usually we said, you know, the suffering of samsara is very hot or heat, you know, so you get coolness from the heat of samsaric suffering. That's why it's called Shila. So if you practice discipline very well, then you can get coolness from the heat of samsaric suffering. And then patient means to endorse hatred. That means you are becoming patient. You can bear with the anger and you don't act according to the anger. And then perseverance means applies to the Supreme One. It's the Supreme One here is again the Buddhahood. So if you are a diligent person in Dharma practice, then that will lead you to the what we call liberation and omniscient. And then the general definition of patient here is we said take delight in virtue. So of course in English language, if you say diligent, you can be diligent in any kind of action, right? You can be called diligent. But here, diligent means the definition of diligent is to take delight in virtue, which means if you are very diligent in a negative action, then it is we don't call you that's diligence here. So here the definition of diligence to be very to be joyful to practice the Dharma with the perseverance. That's the definition of diligence here. Okay, and then meditative concentration brings the mind inside, and wisdom awareness realizes the ultimate meaning. So these are the definition of each parameters. And general parameter, the definition is because they are the cause to cross samsara and achieve nirvana. Therefore, they are called paramita, which means gone to the other shore. And then again we have quotation from Abhisamaya Alankara in this material says, therefore it is said, dispelling poverty, obtaining coolness, and enduring hatred, applying to the supreme and holding the mind inside, realizing the ultimate meaning. And this is a word from Maitreya Buddha.
다 예와니 럽드 예와니 진비 수준 라소바 파르드 진바 레레라용 주주 이에데 대다로 숨주 짜주고 대다의 영원독 전에 진바라서 남주라 대다소서 뒤바에 고체 주바 강인데 조선족의 최신시에서 다 예와지나 진발라 지발라 진비 수준 진비 쇠바 진비 준리 진비 3년 진비 셔랍선 대나지 바로 진발에 레라 주주 예와지 연수
And we completed the definition, and then fifth one is division. How many divisions are there? Then Gambopa says again, generosity of generosity. So actually each parameters can be divided into 6 categories of each. For example, generosity of generosity, moral ethics of generosity, passion of generosity, preservation of generosity, meditation of generosity, and wisdom on generosity. And like that, like again, same as the generosity of discipline of discipline, like that. Then it becomes 36, 36. And then we have the again the quotation from Abhisamaya Alankara, where it says the 6 parameters, generosity and so forth, grouped individually, are the practice of the
이 도대진 말이도 뒤리도 세정원독쟁이 진바라서 남주라 대다소소 뒤바이 고체 두바 공인데 독전주기 지진시.
So this quotation is not from the Abhisamaya Alankara. This is called Ornament of Clear Realization. I don't remember the Sanskrit name, but anyway, the author is Sam. It was also written by the Maitreya and the Buddha, and he said, the 6 parameters, generosity and so forth, grouped individually, are the practice of the hormone of enlightenment, which precisely explain multiplying 6 by 6. That's all.
Oh yeah. 다 되게 현재 되는데 차와는도 근데 두나 촉 남반이수 두어때 진바당 추준 수남기 촉인라 시랍 이식이 촉인 쇠바당 준주당 3된 숨 촉니가 똑바인세 대단을 도대전에 진랑 추준 수남기 촉인 시랍 이식이 숨보시는 니게 때 시송소
And if you like to, conclude 6 parameters or 3 shikshas, then you can conclude all of them into what we call the true accumulations. And which are, they are also grouped into true accumulation. Generosity and moral ethics are the accumulation of merit, and wisdom awareness is the accumulation of perfect wisdom. Patience, perseverance, and meditative concentration are included in both accumulation. Thus, again, we have quotation from the Abhisamaya Alankara, or the ornament of Mahayana Sutra, where Maitreya Buddha says, generosity and moral ethics are the accumulation of merit. Wisdom awareness is the accumulation of perfect wisdom. The other 3 belongs to both.
도시 상도 있나요? 우마지원하는 식리자지 신신나. 근데 우마지원에 가르잖아. 미남대왕 롱제 메밀라 롱제장의 진리 총계는 두배 당벌 진비 잠제도 세네. 다 담보 되는 진백이 땀 바로도 좀 송과에 대가 그랬잖아. 미 탐제 이게 대화디 강라라고 말했잖아. 롱제라고 말해. 롱제디 강라라고 말했잖아. 진발라라고 말해. 진발 땅은 롱제 중에 진발면은 롱제 용도요 말해. 대인당 되는 상직이 담보 되는 진미 바르서 진백이 땀제 봤어.
And I would like to say a little more about these parameters. Quotation from Chantakirti from his book, The Madhyamika Avatara. In his, it says the reason why Buddha taught the generosity first is because all the pleasure that human being wants come from material wealth. And then material wealth can be obtained as a result of the practice of generosity. Therefore, the Buddha taught the practice of generosity first. That's all.
되네 다 진바 치고 되게요 되나 되네 진배 치고 되게요 말이 진배 롱제 잠지 중게요 대 되네 류된 편에서 받아 용게요 말이 대나 우마지고 나네 진배 롱제 당네 정에 나 깨워 처럼 강반냠래 중제네 되네 처럼 마송나 되네 진바 당바이나야 되네 루라서 외게 다 류댕이 뭐 dunjige lu la so ba lang ne dene churu ma so gong so jimba dang be de bo de ge lu de so la long je chim bo yo se ge yo le yin na churu ma so ba jum den ge dene dunjige lu da lu ge ma lang go yo le de gang le jung ge yo le churu ma so ba la ne jung ge yo ma so ba la de ne jung ge de dang dene long je ge che do jimba dang go le lu den pon so ge che do churu song go
And again, Chantakirti said in his book, Madhyamika Avataram, he says, just being wealthy is not good enough. Therefore, the second paramita, which is the paramita of discipline, was taught by Buddha. Because if you just practice generosity and if you don't practice paramitas, then you can be very wealthy in the next life, but not a human being. You can be like a Naga. You know Naga? Usually we say Nagas are very rich, but they are considered to be animals, not like human beings. They don't have the perfect support to practice Dharma. Therefore, just to practice generosity is also not sufficient. Yeah, even it brings wealth in the next life, but we also need to have a perfect support, the physical support, which is the human birth with the perfect human life, you know. Therefore, we need to practice the second paramita, which is the paramita of discipline. And that's the reason why Buddha taught that too. So maybe I will stop here tonight. 그래서 다음 때도 내가 뭐지? 그래서 때도 내가 다음. 그래서 그때 제가 보더라.
예,
됐나?
그거 사나 난 그거
그때 제가 보더라. 됐나? 개반 그때 제가 보더라. 그래서 이날 개발 연말.
얘네 다 비나신 얘는 엄마집과 리우레레 나는 바로 되지 말레레 이 나신 얘네 건설다 진바 롱저거 발라더니 진바 동호회 중심 여기에 양다고 발라더니 얘네 주로 송도게 중심을 신는 되는
And then okay, we can go until 9:30, right? It's our time is 9:30, right? Right? Okay. Okay, then we go until that. Khenpo thought is until 9. That's why he saw it's getting late. I informed him it's from 8 to 9:30 Eastern time. So we still have a few minutes. So anyway, Khenpo just said that each chapter of the Madhyamaka Avatara was related with each paramitas and that the purpose of the and the benefit of each parameters that way.
대인데 되네 바로 그 침바도 레레기 촉시 제네 어디기 디기를 삼네 되네 가서 되네 초시 제네 마임바 바로 좀 쭉 창말라 되네 냠네 강도 지금 소고야 되네 계신분들.
Therefore, I think it's very important for us not to be satisfied just by practicing parameters, thinking that I'm practicing generosity well, so that's good enough for me. If we think that way, then I think that's wrong. We should put effort as much as we can to practice all 6 parameters, not just one of them.
되네 바로 지금 쪽에 냠는 쪽 차상 상와 있는 되네 상식이 고방 토비알라 되네 강일 매바 탈바당 탐지 김에 고방 토비알라 되네 까세 차첨바 마고바 되네 유미린와 상식이 고방 토비하기 그 봐좀
So if we could practice all of them perfectly, then it doesn't take too long for us to achieve the state of Buddhahood, the liberation and omniscient. Without going through too much hardship, we can achieve the Buddhahood if we are able to practice all 6 parameters perfectly well.
되네 상식이 고방률도 더고 나되는 좀 쪽에 냠낸 창고 다들 되지는 시간.
So if we really want to achieve Buddhahood, then all practice of all 6 parameters should be completed. And then I think that's all for tonight to offer you. Okay, we are done. Okay, we can do the dedication. Oi, Jago Nije, Raso, Karma, Jago, Tene, Jina, Karma, Jago, Raso, Ongora, Karma, Oyen, Raso, Tene, Jago, So. Sonam Deye, Tamye, Sivanye, Tamne, Nipe, Dana, Tamye, Jega, Nashe, Bala, Tubai. Sibe sole rogo nyaro Jambal power chitra kemba na gondo sambo deya dejen de la vinde jasa tala yawa de la tanje rabdo Sangye koso nyebe jena da chenye mengyara tembe jena da gende mejen tembe jela ki chida mawa mala roba sure and do ya do jele ja jele tele ba karma ba de tembe nyimbo de choda konja chabje geme Dagbaran Bempen Trashisho. Okay, good night, everyone.